Hey, what's going on, people? How you doing? It's James from My Take on Reality. Uh, so far, we are a little late. Let me get my mic set up because apparently this is not cooperating. You ever just had one of them days where things just ain't working out right? All right, I think that'll work. Yeah, I see a one. Thank you so much, Rosamond Harris. Appreciate you dropping that one in the chat. We also have Laura B. Extraordinary Machine with a new membership. Thank you so much, Laura. Hopefully you get a lot from it. Thank you so much, Charisse Niche, Darlene Hall, Critique Whitaker. Appreciate you guys. Hey, y'all, what's going on? We're going to give the folks a little time to load up, jump in, and be ready to party. I might have messed up. We'll go through it. It won't be a crazy long live per usual, but we're gonna have some fun either way. Let me just rip the intro. Got some good news, guys. Guess what? This Saturday, I'll be on with Reality Cringe TV, bringing them onto the show. We're gonna do a little collaboration, so it should be a good time. Make sure you check that out. It'll be this Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. uh Central Standard Time, and it will be for the PST folks, it'll be 5 p.m. on Saturday. So it's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 Central, and 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. If you're overseas, I'm sorry, I haven't done the translations. As you can tell, I barely did the translations for California. So, just to be fair. And this will be an evening show, calling it the Saturday Night Live show because we're going to be all the way live. It should be a good time. These ladies are very funny, very creative. Again, big shout out to Laura B, the extraordinary time machine. Let me give her a little something for the membership join. Welcome to the crew. Welcome. All right. And so let me drop this. We're going to hit this intro and then we'll get right to it. All right. You couldn't be with anyone. I couldn't be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me. You could be around me. You couldn't be with anyone. I couldn't be with anyone. You're here with me. You're here with me. All right. Welcome to the show, folks. Welcome to the show. Very excited to get things started, kicked off properly. I don't see, actually, as crazy as it is, I don't see my mods on there. They might not have received the notification, so that lets me know how bad I did, but we're going to have a good time anyway. We're going to do the call-in show per usual. For those who may not be aware of what the call-in show is, it's an opportunity for me to hear your take on how things worked out. If you see the message right here, the speakpipe.com/MyTakeOnReality, if you go to that site, you have the opportunity to leave your take in a voicemail message. That's right, your take in a voicemail message. The great thing about SpeakPipe, which I was actually turned on to by Reality Cringe TV, if you leave your message, you get to decide how perfect the message has to be when you leave it. So you get to leave the message, then you get to listen to it, tweak it, do whatever you want to do to it, then send it off. What I'm also inviting you to do is, if you don't want to necessarily have your voice on the internet, I understand. I'm a former corporate guy. I get it. Not everybody wants to be internet famous. I 100% understand. If you don't want to have your voicemail played, you have two options. Somebody else got creative and gave me the second option. The first option is just put it in anonymous, right? Or you can, three options. Put it in anonymous. I can play it. You don't have to say your name, whatever. We'll just play it. I'll respond to it. It is what it is. The second way You just say, James, please don't play this on the internet. In which case, I'll give my interpretation out just to, oh shit. Sorry about that. My microphone is acting wonky. Just to be fair, uh there may be some difference between how I interpret it to how you said it, or maybe what you intend. It's just my interpretation of what you said. But I will do that and then give my response, because actually I got a really good point that I want to talk about. The third way is for you to like you can go anonymous. You leave your name, just tell me you don't want to have your name played or the message played, or and I'll go back and do it. And there was a third way I thought of, and it just escaped me. Sorry. But it's just a way for you guys to get involved. I think that a lot of times it's so much about the YouTube personalities and our interpretation on what is being seen or said or shared on the show, or even in our reaction videos, that a lot of times you guys don't have that same outlet. I want to give you that outlet. We also have the call-in show, which I do on Sunday, which will, on April 20th, air right after the show. Right now, we're doing the Sunday show. We're starting a little bit earlier because I want to be considerate of the people who have to get up in the morning. So we start that show at 8 o'clock Sunday night. After the when the show starts back up April 20th, we're going right into the after show. So we're going to watch the show, then we're going to go to the after show. I think what I may try to do, I have to check the copyrights on this. I may try to watch this show and for members only, because of the YouTube copyright. This might be a way for me to get around it. We can watch the show together on the member site, and then we'll go to the general after party, and we'll get it in. Everybody get their call in and get to say what they want to say and get their reactions. I'll have to root that out and see how that works. But that's the plan, folks. That's the plan. But tonight we have some pretty interesting messages. Okay, Valadia, with the I'm excited about your collaboration with B&D. Beatrice and Delia. Yep. So hide your wife, hide your kids, because we going in this Saturday. It's going to be live. Make sure you check it out. Hey, Jeanette. Hello from West Virginia. Hello, WV up in the house. Got Betty. She's also from West Virginia. So we get around, as they say. But yeah, so here's a perfect example of some of the things that we do on this Thursday night show. I'll go to the have to go to the media stuff, and we're going to listen to some of these phone calls, and we're going to get it in. I have some stuff that I'm doing in my office/studio, so I'll be releasing some videos. Oh, just so you guys know, the Monday morning motivation that I released on Monday, it will be available for everybody right after the live. I'm going to populate it. I had to do some tweaks to it, but it will be available for everybody. So make sure you guys check that out. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. I've always kind of wanted to roll that into like just the my regular channel, but it didn't do well when I tried it before. So we're going to go back and we're going to try it again. We're going to keep working it. We're going to keep working it. And if I have to do it like members only first, and then like Monday morning do the members only, and then like Wednesday, Thursday release it for everybody, then that's what I'll do. For people who can't join the membership or are unable to join the memberships, I still want to be able to provide that content to you. So that's the plan. Cool Breeze, what's going on? I knew some folks back in the day named Cool Breeze. Okay. Here we go. All right. First caller. So we have some callers calling in. Might take myself off the screen briefly while this is playing. So I can fix this dang old microphone. It's getting on my nerves. Black Swan, Gothica in the house. Lord Art Witch, what's happening? Kitty in the house. Alexandra PF in the house. Betty in the house. What's up, Betty Aldridge? Rolling through. Um, yeah, so the first call is actually from Kiki. Turn this sound up so we all can hear it. And let's hear what Kiki has to say.
Hi, James. This is Kiki. You may recognize me as Belly Buttons. I am calling because I absolutely freaking love your show. I've always told you I love your take. Since your very first clip online, I've been commenting my appreciation for you. I would like to propose that the show bring on an expert in either microbiology or medicine in pandemics and explain to Cody to his face. This needs to be a man, though. It needs to be a man who is a proven expert to tell him how ridiculously ignorant his COVID rules were. And I'm not talking about the wiping off your groceries and the shoes. And we did all that. We knew we had to do that due to PPE regulations. But the ridiculous part was him playing Typhoid Cody. And he thought it was okay and it made sense for everyone to sit around and never associate with anyone, never go anywhere. But then he would transfer germs from house to house to house. And he actually tried to propose this as some kind of intellectual option for them. And I'd like to hear a man just hammer him on this, how ignorant, stupid, ridiculous, and unrealistic this really was. Hi, James. This is Keith.
Had to turn the mute off. I was like, okay, guys, I'm about to jump into it. All right, here's my thing. And I 100% agree with what Kiki had to say with regard to that point. I agree 100% that the whole COVID thing was one crazy overplayed. It was crazily overplayed. He came out crying and complaining. It's not fair. I tried to do my COVID thing, and these ladies would not cooperate with me, even though I was making all kinds of sacrifices and giving up a whole bunch of stuff for them, trying to keep them safe. This is what I was doing as the man, as the patriarch, as the Lord of the manor. This is what I did. It's all bullshit. He wanted to spend time at Robin's house with Robin. He just didn't want to be involved with these other women. And what he refers to as their kids, not their kids together, not his kids, their kids, these women's kids, Mary, Janelle, Christine's kids. He didn't want to have anything to do with them. He didn't want to have anything to do with his wives. So what he did was him and the Grinch that stole husbands, Robin, what they did was they decided in their mind they were going to use the epidemic and the pandemic of COVID as cover as to why Cody wasn't going to go spend time at these other women's houses. He was already spending an inordinate amount of time at Robin's house anyway. This is well before they even moved to Arizona, much less before the 1-9 hit. When they were in Las Vegas, the wives, the OG3 wives, complained that Cody would come over. He would barely get there for dinner. He would hang out a little while on his phone, probably chitting and talking to Robin about how stupid it is and how he wish he was over there with her and how much he missed her and the little nestles and caressels of being around her in her presence, you know. As Dolly will refer to it as the breakdance and punana. Like he wanted to be in that area. He wanted to be in that section, right? That's where he wanted to be. And then when he gets out to Arizona, he ensures that Robin is taken care of, that she's fine, that she's okay. And if she has a nice place so he can go lay his head at that house. I'm also tired of calling that Robin's house. That was Cody and Robin's house. His name was also on that deed. It wasn't a sacrifice they made for Robin because this is what Robin wanted. This is something that Cody also wanted. And he wanted to spend time at that place that he put his name on. So therefore, When the time came, he took full advantage of the very notion of the pandemic. And he decided he was going to spend his time over there. And what makes it even worse to me, in my humble opinion, what makes it worse is that when he did it, he not only wanted to just isolate himself at Robin's house, which was bad enough, he wanted everybody else to isolate themselves away from each other. To me, that was the worst part of the COVID rules. It wasn't just the fact that he was lying and bullshitting saying he wasn't coming, because dude hadn't been coming. But what he tried to do was he tried to tell these kids that they could no longer hang out with each other. You raise these kids to see each other as brother and sister, irregardless of their mother and their parentage. You raise them to see each other as brother and sister, and to rely on each other, and to depend on that company that they share with one another, only to tell them because your wife doesn't want to be around them. And again, the Grinch that stole husbands didn't want, apparently husbands and fathers didn't want to have you over there with them, and she didn't want to see them with each other. So she used the pandemic as a way to keep these people apart, separate, and alone. To me, that is the worst. That's way worse than Cody just not showing up. That's way worse. There's also a video that I'm doing. I'm working on it now. I just have to kind of get my thoughts together on it, where I'm going to talk about like how she came into the family and how she changed the family, because I think that that's also integral to us understanding where she is and how she affected the Browns. It's just craziness. And again, I 100% agree. I'm not a virologist. I'm not a scientist. I'm none of those things. I don't work for the CDC. I don't have a I don't have a degree in epidemiology. None of that. Virology. None of that. But I do know this. The plan as he proposed it didn't make any damn sense. I understand, with my layman's understanding, that if you have a cold or you have the flu and you show up, like say the flu's running around, it's flu season, y'all, and I go to my house and I'm locked down in my house because I'm sick as a dog. But then I go over to my brother's house. Then I go to my dad's house. I'm spreading the disease. Like, same. If Cody is going over to each one of these people's houses as he's complaining that they're not following the COVID rules and they're putting themselves in jeopardy and they could all get sick, as he's doing that, if they are sick and you're the one going around to each one of the houses, you're the one who's going to make them sick. Somehow, having an XY chromosome does not give you the ability to sidestep pandemics or viruses or anything else. Bad luck. We still stub our toes. We still, fall down the steps. People die every year from slipping and falling in the bathtub, and nobody gives a shit what gender you are or what your sexual orientation is, and none of that stuff. And so for him to sit there and pretend like he's a manly, masculine man, so therefore he can thwart the evils of the pandemic and keep the virus at bay. And then what cracks me up is Janelle caught it. I think both her boys caught it. A few people in the family had it. But he's the only one that was sitting there bitching like, to this day, he's still bitching about, oh, I got sick. I had the runny nose. I wasn't feeling good. I thought it was over for a player. I had it. And to be honest with you, it was bad. It was rough. I've had some flus that were rough too. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm not going to sit there and bitch and complain about it, because I understand that people actually died from it. And for me to sit there and complain about how I was inconvenienced and how I didn't feel good. And I was in my fifis because normally I'm surrounded by this one and that one. And I think that that's also what it came down to. He was so used to getting sick and then everybody flocking around him and running around him. That's why he was pissed off about getting sick, and he doesn't understand why people don't understand how sick he was. It's not just the fact that he was sick. It was also the fact that he was sick and all the wives didn't just drop everything that they had going on and come running around him and hold his damn hand. That's what had him upset. So I 100% agree. I do think it'll be interesting to have the conversation with him from a scientist they're talking to him. But the crazy part is I could also see him backdooring it by one, he wouldn't agree to the conversation. Two, if he did agree to the conversation, he would just sit there and say, I had no idea. I didn't know. Oh, wow. Huh, that's interesting. That's what you think. And he'll do the whole like, well, there are other scientists who believe, because science isn't exact science. There's a lot of people who believe different things. And then my favorite part too, and even in that conversation, was he had said that he had said well, if Janelle gets sick, when he was talking to Gabe and Garrison, if your mom gets sick, I'm going to have to take care of her. Who's going to take care of her? Nobody but me. And then Garrison, rest his soul, rest in power, brother. He said, I'm going to take care of her. What are you talking about? And when she got sick, guess who took care of her? Gabe and Garrison. Guess who took care of her? Gabe and Garrison took care of her. And Cody couldn't be bothered. He didn't want to go over to her house because she was sick. So how the hell you going to sit there and pretend like you're going to be defender of the manor, but you won't even go over to the house to make sure she's okay? And probably sat there, and let's be honest, when she got sick, he probably sat there with the whole bullshit about, oh, well, that's what she get because she didn't really listen to me. And if she would have listened to me, she would have been fine. This is what she gets. This is what she deserves. She deserves to be sick. So, yeah, he can kind of miss me with that. But, yeah, good call, Kiki. We got another call from Kiki. That's another thing. You guys can leave multiple messages if you want. I don't mind. Especially now that we don't have a lot of people leaving messages. So, it's more opportunity for you. It's nothing but room and opportunity. All right, next message from Kiki.
Hi, James. It's Kiki, just continuing. They also need to show clips from the wedding and confront him with takes of every physical interaction they could possibly get on video of how he transferred all of these germs from all of these strangers and friends at this wedding and brought them back to his home. They need to confront him, and it needs to be a man. It needs to be an expert in endemic medicine at the very least. And they need to get him, but it's got to be a man because he will steamroll all over a woman just like he does with Suki every single time.
Okay. All right. That was from Kiki. And I agree with that. Like, I think that the wedding was like I'm going to say this. One, I think the wedding was the perfect topper to all the little COVID rule bullshit that he was passing around. I think the wedding was the perfect topper. In addition to that, though, I think that this was another example of the the production crew basically saying, F you, Cody. Because they didn't have to do my man like that. He was crying and complaining about how they wasn't following the COVID rules, how he couldn't be around for the COVID rules. He was about to send his daughter off to get back surgery by herself. And then he turns right around and they film his ass doing a wedding. And the way they did it, because through editing magic, even if it was the next day, he went over to talk to Isabel, looked her in the face, told her he can't even hug her because she's going away to New York and he can't be around her because he has to think about the big picture. He could have left that place, had his truck packed up and drove down to the wedding. And they could have, through editing magic, They could have made it seem like it was months or almost the next year that he went to that wedding. And it would have took the internet sleuths because, you guys as the fan base, y'all find out way more information than TLC ever has given us. Y'all would have found out the truth through research and stuff. This dude was at the wedding next day. He'd have got busted. But the TLC could have looked out for him that way, which they did not. And I always thought that was kind of the cherry on top. But when it like Kiki had mentioned, when he went to the wedding, he wasn't social distancing. I didn't see a man who was deathly afraid of COVID and what COVID had in store for him. A guy who was so afraid and so concerned with COVID that he told his wives and his kids that he refuses to see them because they wouldn't isolate, because he's so afraid of COVID. I didn't see a man who was scared. That, to me, it didn't look like a guy who was afraid of COVID. Not at all. So it's very difficult for me to feel sympathy for him when he sits there and says that the reason why he doesn't see his kids is because he was so afraid of COVID. They didn't want to follow the COVID rules. And because they were so reckless and dangerous with themselves, that's why he doesn't have anything to do with them. Just saying. That's my take. Next up, guys, guess what? We have hold on one second. Okay. Yeah, next up we have another call from another call from Candace. Okay, let's check out what Candace has to say. Oh shit, hold on.
Hey James. This is Candace. I love you. Just wanted to say that, but I wanted to ask you if you could interview Cody, if you instead of Suki, which would be my dream, because I really think you would do a great job grilling Cody and Robin in a very respectful way. But what would be your question you would want to ask them if you could get them on the couch? And I would love for you to call out all their bullshit. My question would be, where's the money, Cody and Robert? Where's the money? How many dolls do you have, Robin? All your little dollies. How many? How much have you spent on that? How much have you guys spent on your art? Where's the fucking money, people? How come you don't have money for Coyote Pass to cough it up when those ladies ask you, Mary and Janelle? So anyway, that's my question. I would love for you to call them out on all that. And I would love to see their response when they're squirming and trying to weasel their way out of that question. All right. Have a good day.
Oh wow. Sorry about that. See, that's why I be asking. Thanks so much. Alexander PM with the 22222. Kathy Ferran 222. What the hell? Unmute. Yeah, I'm muted so it doesn't reverb in the mic. But here we go again. I think that's an excellent point from Candace. What some of the questions that I would ask, because I think that every fan, what I was saying earlier, every fan has said, drop the F-bomb about the money, either internally or verbally, audibly said, what the F? Like, where is the money? What have you done with the money? And that would be one of my major questions. I would ask each one of them, in your interpretation of the family and the family dynamics, how does the money work? How does the money work? It is not even so much a question as much as confirmation of what I already think. I think that the money works in such a way that they put the money in from TLC into the big bank account, the family account. They draw down from the account. They, meaning Cody, has control of said account. and he distributes the money as he sees fit. And part of my issue with that particular arrangement is that if Cody draws down the money as he sees fit, then when it comes time for you guys to get a little bit of extra, or for you to have certain things paid for, you're relying on his stewardship of said fund to make sure that the money is not only available, but before that, making sure the money is actually there, which is one of the complaints that he had. And even as Candace had mentioned it during the phone call, talking about, you say you don't have the money for Cody Pass. I don't understand how I've been depositing my check into this bank account this entire damn time, and we don't have any money. That would be a serious conversation that we would have to have. I don't understand how every week I'm sitting here going without. I'm eating moldy ass bread. I'm buying meats out the dollar store. You know, you know what I mean? Getting that Dollar General solid sausages. Like, are you crazy? And then we turn around, and when it comes time for us to do something with the money I've been sacrificing to save, you turn around and your first response is that I don't know where the money is. We don't have the money. We broke. How we broke? You could be broke. You might have spent your money, but I don't understand how you spent my money when we were saving said money for a purpose. It's not even like at the time that a lot of this money went missing, it wasn't like they said, you are just putting the money in and we're going to do something nebulous with the money later. When they got to Arizona, the whole reason why they went to Arizona was to buy this Cody Pass and buy property so they could all live the way they wanted to live in Arizona. He convinced them before they left Vegas. He took them all out to Arizona, got them looking at a piece of property, got them excited about said property, said that this property costs X amount of dollars. Then he got them to invest in said property, and then he turned around and all the money is damn gone. That shit sounds like a con to me. In my opinion, it sounds like a con. Isn't that what con artists do? They get you thinking about all this thing that you're going to get and how awesome it's going to be, how amazing it's going to be. And wait till you get it. It's going to be so good. It's going to feel so good. It's going to be good to you. It's going to be incredible. You get excited about it. You invest in it. Then they have people who come in and try to pretend like I don't want to do it. I don't think that it's a good idea. And oh my God. And you start defending it, which is increasing your investment. So you have Robin saying that she doesn't want to do it, but she's excited about doing it, but she doesn't want to do it, and she's not sure about doing it. But oh no, she's going to have to take a little bit of the money and put it into a house because she don't have no place to stay. I don't have nowhere to house my children. Apparently they stopped renting houses in Arizona. Here's my thing. If they weren't renting houses in Arizona, you had no place to stay. They didn't have any mansions for you to rent, according to her. They didn't have any mansions for you to rent because you wanted to rent a 7,000 to 8,000 square foot house on a month-to-month lease. They just don't have those investment properties laying around in any jurisdiction, really. But that's what she wanted. And because they didn't have that, all of a sudden she had to buy a house because all her kids had to have their own rooms. She couldn't make any sacrifices. So, I mean, what the shit are we doing? What are we doing? If you don't have a place to stay, why are we staying here? That'd be my question. Why are we here? We don't have a place to stay. And we're sitting here talking about, oh, well, when we buy a house and we pay the land off, and then when we hire somebody to go out and develop the land, and then when we build the houses, then we're all going to be here. So it's no point in us living in Vegas where we actually have houses and the kids are already settled. It's no point in us doing that because this way, if we do it this way, the kids will already be adjusted and they can go right from doing whatever they're doing in Arizona to living in the house. Yeah, but there's a whole bunch of steps. Let's be honest, with as much money as that shit's going to cost, There's no way in the world, they would have been able to do all the things they needed to do, pay off the houses, get the people there to develop the land, then build the houses. They were never going to have enough money, even if they left the damn bank accounts alone. They weren't going to have enough money to do any of these things. Certainly not going to have enough money to do it in the time frame that would be required for the younger kids to actually benefit from living in Arizona. When they moved out to Arizona, what happened? Gwendolyn graduated. Garrison graduated. I think Garrison might have came out before. Gabe graduated. Brianna graduated. Aurora graduated. Isabel graduated. Like, what are we doing? The only kids who would even kind of maybe perhaps remotely see a house on Coyote Pass might have been Truly, maybe, before she graduates, and maybe one of Robin's younger kids. But we have to remember that they're right there at the same age as Truly. So they're like, if Truly is 14 now, Solomon's 13 at least, and Ariella is like at least 10 or 10 or 12, 10, anywhere from 10 to 11 or so, 10, 11, 12. But either way, you guys aren't going to be able to pay that property off, have it developed, and then have enough where you could put 4 homes on that property. No way. No way. You don't make enough. So that was never going to happen. But you get them to invest in that idea so that way, when you close the trap on their ass, they're fully invested. What they've accomplished was they were able to siphon off all of that money from their home sales, all of the money from TLC, the TLC checks, and then they were able to pour it into their households, their drinks, their bank accounts, their dreams, their bank accounts, and then leave these women with nothing. That's why Coyote Pass is so important. It's so relevant now. Because we can't talk about the bigger fund of money. Where's the big money at? Coyote Pass money, I mean, that's substantial, but that's only a fraction of what these women are owed. Only a fraction of the money that they contributed to the family. So, I mean, again, I think that I would love to have that conversation with them. I would love to talk about like the family finances. I'll also have a couple questions that I'll be talking about in the video that I have coming out. Talk about Robin coming into the family. When Robin came into the family, how did she disrupt things? How did you let these things happen? This is the ridiculous nature of Robin actually coming into the family. Because the family culture was flowing one way. She comes into the family, upsets the whole apple cart. Now the family is doing something different that they've never done before. And that was one of the things that led to the ultimate destruction of said family. It wasn't just the fact that Cody was spending a lot of time at Robin's house, which hurt the family. It wasn't the fact that Cody was siphoning off a lot of the money from the family, which, going back to the first caller, Kiki, when you talk about like the pandemic, part of the reason why I think they had to move out of Lehigh was because, is that right? I want to say that right. Lehigh, Utah. Doesn't sound right. But part of the reason why I think they had to move out of Utah and originally was because all the wives were living in the same house. Robin wanted to split them up. She wanted to stay split up and separate, but she wanted to make sure they stayed separate. She changed the very culture of the family. How did you let that happen? That's a conversation I would love to have with them. We have got a super chat. What is that? What does it say? Super chat from Ty Boogie. What's going on? Down in our super chat. Oh, she's also a member. I have a theory. Message coming next week. Okay. Can't wait to hear it is and include this on the thing. I'm telling you. Because I think that these are all good questions. And these are questions that look, I'm not even gonna sit here and pretend like I'm the guy who's thinking of all these things or whatever the case may be. because a lot of the folks who watch the show, let me give Ty a little something real quick. So you're gonna be calling into the show. Awesome. Thank you so much, Ty. I don't think that I'm particularly unique. I think that a lot of you guys are asking the same questions, have the same concerns, the same observations. But I think that it's a disservice on the part of TLC who, hearing these questions, seeing the content creators ask these questions, seeing the chats and the comment sections where a lot of you guys are asking these questions, making these points, and they don't come back and they don't say, you know what might be a good question to answer? Where's the money? That's what people kind of want to know. Why are people so excited about the Cody Pass stuff? Because of the money, honey. They want to know where the damn money is. Show me the money. I'm gonna have to pull that down from what you call it from the thing. Show me the money. I want to know where the damn money is. Let's find out where the bodies are buried. I'm bringing a shovel. We're gonna find out where these bodies are buried, Cody. Let's get it. You know what I mean? And my whole approach would be, I'm not. If honestly, if I was given an opportunity to interview Cody or talk to Cody or Robin, my job in that position isn't necessarily to embarrass or humiliate them. It probably will be the end result, no doubt, but that wouldn't be my goal. I wouldn't set out to do that. What I would want to do is let's have an honest conversation. Let's ask the hard questions. Let's have the conversation that people want to hear. Not just the bullshit that you guys are peddling to us on the show or on the tell-all meetup or the after show. I don't even know if you could call it a tell-all anymore, because technically they don't tell all. They just kind of tell some. They figure out what they want to mention. You know, the honorable mentions during the season. You know, but let's have a conversation. Let's talk. And if you don't want to have the conversation, and here's the challenge for Cody, if you don't want to have the conversation, and we don't have to have the conversation, but let's not pretend like we're having a conversation. Let's not get dressed up for the bullshit. Let's not get dressed up to do nothing. Okay? Let's sit down and actually talk and find out what's going on. Ask these big questions. You said that you did polygamy because you wanted to be the standard bearer for how polygamy works, and you wanted to present a positive line, a positive example of what polygamy looked like. To be honest with you, in my opinion, there's nothing about the way you conducted yourself in this family makes me want to be a part of any of that. There's no way in the world I'm going to look at the Brown family and how they devolved in the devolution of that family unit and say to myself, that's what I want to do with my life. I want to go out and get, well, I currently have a wife. I want to get 3 additional wives. I'm going to get a hot young thing. And then I'm going to just focus on her. And then I'm just going to expect the other 3 women to keep contributing financially, economically, supportively. Like they'll support me and what I want to do. And when I feel bad, I feel blue, they come over and make me feel better. And I think that that's going to work out perfectly. I would be a maniac. And when they presented this show, you guys look like fucking maniacs. Pardon my French. You look like maniacs. Because only a maniac would think that this would actually work. Okay, the way you guys do it. If I was part of this is like this is like you stand on the dock looking at the Titanic. You know what you need to do? You need to cut them damn lifeboats down. What do we need lifeboats for? Clearly, that's a good idea. You know, that's what we're building a submarine. You know what I like on boats? I like to feel that ocean air. Let's put some screen doors on that submarine, please. It'll help the boat sink faster. It sure will. You're a genius, Mr. James. I mean, come on, guys. These are the questions that I want to ask. I want to press them on the fact that you guys sat up there and berated these students, the kids at because we're gonna go back and we're gonna talk about these old timey stories. Let's go back and have the conversation about how at UNLV you berated people who had actually suffered under polygamy and made them feel bad about themselves. And all in an effort so that you could prop yourself up, so that you could prop up the idea or notion that polygamy works. And you are willing to do that on the backs of these people, especially that young girl, Colleen, that young man who was also sitting on the stage, they were victims of polygamy. They were victims of polygamy. They weren't participants, they were victims of polygamy. And whether you were part of that group or not, to me, it's not enough for you to say, oh, it wasn't me. Those words ring hollow to me. They ring hollow to me because you're sitting here saying that, oh, yeah, even though I'm saying that this thing that I'm doing is awesome and amazing, people who also participate in this thing and are extremely abusive and they're victimizing people, yeah, they're not with me. So even though we're doing kind of the same thing and we're doing it under the same reasoning and rationale, it's okay for me to do it. And not only is it okay for me to do it, it's okay for me to tell everybody else that it's okay. Not recognizing the fact that you sit here and say that you wanted to come out, Cody and the family's whole thing was, we want to come out and we want to drag these people into the light by making our lifestyles acceptable. Part of the problem with that idea is that you're not just making the lifestyle in this alternative lifestyle acceptable, you're also closing people's minds or eyes to what's actually going on in some of these smaller communities. That what you're doing is a disservice because you're sitting, especially when you're sitting there arguing with people. Oh, girl, when you were married to your cousin and you were only 16, 17 years old, and you were married to your 40-year-old cousin, yeah, girl, that was just you. That was just you. Everybody else who do it has a great time doing it because that was just you. I want to talk about that. Let's talk about that shit because I think that was actually one of the most damaging things that I've seen. Like, and this is saying a lot about watching the Browns on Sister Wives. To me, that was one of the most abusive things that I'd seen on this show. When you take somebody who is a literal trafficking victim and you tell them that it's their problem and the things that they went through is on them, and that was just their experience, and you try to diminish it, also that you can get a check or so that you can maintain your pristine image, then we have room for a conversation. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. Yeah, so let me go to, hold on one second. Oh, we have Crystal Manning, $10 super chat. Hey, James. What's going on, Crystal? How you doing? I wish you were doing a season tell-all interview. Real. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I would love to do it. I would love to have the conversation. If Cody or Robin or any one of them want to come on to the show, I would be more than, obviously every creator says, in fairness, it's not really a struggle bus thing. I would gladly talk to the person who stars in the show that I talk about all the time. But I would like to talk to them and have a real conversation about it. I don't want to kiss your ass. I don't want to, we could have the conversation and we don't have to be friends. We don't ever have to talk again. And you can walk out of any one of them could walk out of the interview or the discussion with me and call me all kinds of assholes. I'm fine with that. But again, I think that there's a lot of things that, especially based on how they presented themselves during the course of this show, there's a lot of things and a lot of room for us to actually have real conversations so that we can get a real understanding about the real things that we're actually talking about, especially when we're promoting concepts or alternative lifestyles like polygamy, like polygyny, like plural marriage, like ethical non-monogamy. Like when we say open relationships, there is a real conversation that we could have on any one of these fronts. Even as I talk about 90 Day Fiance or 90 Day Fiance, the original, they have a throuple, or I talk about 90 Day Fiance Last Resort, where somebody is doing where Jasmine, one of the stars, is trying to open her marriage up and basically forcing her husband, who brought her to the States, to open their marriage up so that she can have a boyfriend whom she's now pregnant by. I think that TLC, they have a new thing called polyfamily. So TLC has a new show out called Poly Family that they're pushing. This show is going to be a damn train wreck. And as you would expect, it's two couples basically, and they're involved in a quadruple or whatever. I don't know what they call themselves, but it's basically all four of them messing with each other, right? And of course, it leads to destruction and devastation because you have one family member who has, there's two younger kids. It's like basically two families that came together. They all jump into bed with each other. So the guys are like rotating, oh, pardon me. The guys are like rotating to each one of the wives' rooms. And they've had children since, and they don't know who the kids belong to. Right. And then apparently on the show, they find out who the kids belong to, and people start having exceptions. And one of the wives, she wants to open up the relationship even more because she found somebody else outside these two relationships to have a relationship with. And they call it closed monogamy, closed polymonogamy. So if we're going to present these, whether it's sister wives, the granddaddy, or we're talking about poly family, which I think is sister wives replacement because TLC is looking to get rid of sister wives, or we talk about 90 Day Fiance, either one of the iterations. As we approach these relationships, we have to take off. Yeah, there's a veneer of mystique and mystery that's involved with these types of lifestyles. And I understand that and I get it. But at the same time, once we remove that veneer of mystery, we have to replace it with education. We have to replace it with critical thinking. Before we tell people that this is an advisable opportunity for you to participate in this alternative type of relationship, we have to encourage people to get to know who they are and what they can tolerate and what they can deal with. And thereby, what are you open to actually participating in when you agree to participate in these types of relationships? I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't care what people do. I have two rules. But before I get into the two rules, let me give Crystal Manning a little something, something. A little something, something. 1 second. Here we go. Crystal Manning, this is for you. Thank you so much for your super chat. And I do want to say, hey back, Crystal. But the one thing I will say is this: when it comes to these types of relationships, I don't really, like I said, I don't have a dog in a fight. I try to be open-minded about the diversity of how people approach their relationships. I'm open to listening to you talk about and describe how you approach life and love, because everybody does a little bit different. We all might participate in the same thing, but our approach is always a little different. Even me, if I have a relationship with one person, romantic relationship with one person, like romantic relationships I had with each one of the people I've dated historically, even though it might have underlying through lines because I am who I am, it's always a little bit different. It's always a little bit different because I'm dealing with different people. And so I like to hear what people have to say. But at the same time, recognizing that that's a possibility, there are two mainstay rules that I have. First rule, I want to make sure that everybody who participates in this, the second rule actually feeds into the first rule. But the first rule is anybody who participates in this has to be able to consensually make the choice to participate. They have to have a consensual agreement. When I say consensual agreement, I don't mean just they say, yes, it's okay, let's try it. I'm not just talking about that. What I'm referring to is that you have the knowledge and understanding of the thing that you are about to participate in. And you are actually looking at it from the perspective of, I know what I'm about to do. I know the pros, the cons, the ups, the downs, the goods, the bads. I understand all of it. And now I want to make the decision to either participate or not participate based on the information that I already have. And when you do that, you make that informed consent. You have that informed consent. That informed, you know, all the ups and downs, ins and outs, ups, rights and wrongs. Informed consent. You agree to it. Okay, fine. Who am I to tell you that you can't do it? What I don't think you have, I don't think you're making informed consent if you're watching 90 90 Day Fiance and you have Jasmine, who is greedily asking her husband to basically be financially responsible for her. So where she goes out and basically has a boyfriend, lover, confidant there to provide her sexual, physical, and emotional needs. So basically, she's asking her husband to pay for her to be with her boyfriend. And I think that that's inappropriate because that's not what either one of them, that's not what she's selling, and that's not what he agreed to. The second thing, my second rule, everybody should be age appropriate. Now, this really goes into the first one, because if you're not age appropriate, you can't consent, period. Full stop, the end. But I think that is of such importance that it needs its own, it needs its own bullet point. It needs its own damn bullet point. You got to be of a certain age before you make this tremendous life decision. There's a reason why these guys, not just because they like young, tender, innocent women, there's a reason why these old, crusty ass 40, 50-year-old men be going after these young ladies in these little encampments like the Kingstons and the rest of them. There's a reason why they do that. And the reason they do that is because you can twist them and bend them and mold them and brainwash them in a way because they're young and their brains ain't fully formed yet. Not only the young ladies, but the young men as well. You can twist them and bend them and form them in such a way that they think that up is down and right is left, that they don't know the difference. And therefore, they don't have the ability to make that informed consent because they're given and they've convinced themselves that this thing is true. And they wind up getting screwed over. So, those two things, those are my two things. And as we have those kind of conversations, I think that is incredibly important that if they are going to get on these TV shows and talk about how awesome it is and how great it is and how wonderful it is and how everybody should be open to it and participating in it, I think that we need to have a real conversation about the realities of this thing. Because, yeah, it sounds great that you got 4 adults who are all pulling and contributing financially and they're all kind of looking out for each other, right? And they have one man they all love and they're all committed to the family, they're all committed to each other. Yeah, that sounds great. But it's not great in practice when we're watching Robin Brown and Cody, 2 of the 5 people, actively only looking out for their own best interest. I think that the whole thing falls apart at that point. And so from that respect, I'd love to have the conversation, but I'm only willing to have the conversation. Even, was it Best Friend Jen? I know there's a lot of YouTubers who would love to talk to Best Friend Jen. I would like to talk to Best Friend Jen up to a point, but at the same time, I see where people like Best Friend Jen, and this is no shot on Best Friend Jen, but I see where people like Best Friend Jen. But the truth of the matter is, I think part of the adoration and accolades that we give to her is because she's the one person on the show saying the things that the audience or fan base is saying. So she has the voice of the audience. It's not that she's saying something so, whoa, Best Friend Jen just dropping jewels up in this. She's dropping gems. No, it's just that she's saying shit that we've been saying the whole time. They're like this season 20. I'm watching a trailer. They're basically saying that in this season, we're basically going to address the things that you guys have been saying for years. Oh, Christine comes out. Yeah, I think Cody might have been banging out Robin before he got married. You think? You think, Christine? Welcome to the club. Well, I mean, I'm glad you showed up. Welcome. I mean, I'm glad you finally made it. Yeah, I've been saying that for years. I say that when first season. No man is driving 5 damn hours to go see a woman to hold her hand and sit on the couch. Not every weekend. Okay? Not every weekend. It'd be like, especially if he's sexually attracted to her. We grown folks. We grown folks. Ain't no grown-ass man driving that far and he knows that this is somebody who he's sexually attracted to. And she knows she's sexual, because let's be honest, in my experience, women know when you are, they know whether you're a candidate or not. It's not a thing that they discover, like through your conversation, your humor, and your good character, that all of a sudden, yeah, I might be able to sleep with this guy. They know. Women know. They know. Now, I've always said that, like, when it comes to stuff like that, women, you talking to a woman, you're not talking your way into nothing. Okay. You're not talking your way into a woman. You're just not. You can talk your way out of a woman. Like, you can talk your way out of an experience for sure. But you're not going to talk your way into an experience with a woman. She knows whether you are that person or not. That's just my experience. Y'all can tell me if y'all think I'm wrong, but that's my experience. Women know. So when Robin was in there fucking swinging her tail feathers around that church, trying to get that scent in the air and catch a man, she knew that when Cody was sitting there staring at her behind, she knew that Cody was on the hook. And she knew when she had that dude driving 5 hours, she drove 5 hours. I'm sorry, when she drove 5 hours 3-4 times, what she was trying to get, that she trying to get it. Okay. If a woman putting out that much effort, dude, she trying to get it too. It's not just a one-way street with a man, oh, I'm a fiend and I gotta have it. She trying to get it too. Okay. Women's got feelings too. They got feelings and emotions. Yes, they do. So she knew she was trying to get some. Okay. She driving 5 hours, with 3 kids in the car. Baby. She trying to get it broke all the way down. You hear me? So, she got 3 little babies. Like all of them, I think they was all under 5 at the time. Oh yeah. She was gonna tear the rafters off that bad boy. So she's gonna curl my man's toes up. All right. So you got her doing that. Then you got him on top of that, running in the house after work, packing a bag. I'm surprised dude didn't have his bag packed before he got home. He might have been. See, here's the lady. Let me give y'all a little game. If he know he doing that, there's a possibility he didn't want to pack his bag too early because he might have had the condoms up in that junk. Some of y'all might have to replay that so you catch what I just said. He don't want to put the packages up in the bags, so you got to pack the bags late, so that way you can go to the hideaway and pull your profos out and slip them up in the bag, so that way when you hit the road, if the wives go into the bags while you at work, because Christine's ass home all day and she already don't like she already don't like Robin's ass, so she would have been going through the bags for sure. Cody getting in the shower, she going through the phone the whole nine. Trust me when I would say this shit. But think of yourselves, ladies. What would you do? Okay, I ain't the only one saying this. But so he slide his ass out there 5 hours. Yeah, you just mentioning that now. You think he was knocking her down? You think he was dusting it off? He was getting a little sample of the break dancing pom pom. You think this is something he just discovered? No, this is something he been doing. Okay, and we've been saying that. This is just my opinion. We've been saying it. They're going to talk about how Robin might have lied to and used Mary to get into the family. Been saying that. Were you new? Welcome to the club. Glad you caught up. Grab some peanuts, grab some popcorn, a beverage, and have a seat. The movie's already started. Like, come on now. This is stuff we've already said. So season 20, y'all coming out like it's a big revelation. We've already been saying all this shit. We've all been saying all of this. So, like I said, with Jen, nothing against Jen. Like, I do appreciate her contribution, and I like her dynamic with Mary. But at the same time, you know what I mean? It'll be interesting to see what she's about as the show moves on. If the show moves on. Because we really don't know much about it. I just know that right now she agrees with some of the stuff I've been saying. She tries to give counsel to her friend. I might have been a little more forthright with it, but I understand that her situation is different because of her, their entanglements. I'm just saying. So I would talk to Jen too, best friend Jen too, But all of the conversations that I would want to have, and this is the one caveat, all of the conversations that I would like to have with them would all be contingent on the fact that, one, I get to ask or talk about whatever I want to talk about. the conversation goes where it goes. I'm not going to necessarily come in with an agenda. There are some things I would like to know. I'm not going to come in with an agenda, but at the same time, I'm not going to be blocked off. Like, we're not going to sit here and have like the flowery ass conversations they've been doing or interviews they've been doing on People Magazine or ET or whatever. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, you guys already have places where you can do that shit. You can do it on your own social media platforms, which are bigger than mine. You don't need to have a conversation with me about, how you love Christine. How I love David. And then Janelle, my tired of farms is doing good. And Mary, my best friend Jen. Cody, I'm not talking about Robin. I'm not having that conversation. If you guys want to have a conversation, I'm there for it. If you don't want to have a conversation, you want to hide, you want to conceal, you want to keep back, you can mess me with it. I mean, again, just keep doing the tell-alls. I'm sure that'll go splashingly well. And you guys will be on for another whole season before they cut the show. And again, I'll go on record. The whole poly family thing, if that show takes off, Sister Wives is done. If that, like, they're running, I think poly family, let's see when that airs. Poly Family airs April 29th. Ironically, 9 days prior, Sister Wives' second half of the season starts. If Poly Family takes off and they do some real numbers on that show, Sister Wives is donezo. It'll get one more season and it's over. One, maybe two. And it might be one, maybe two if things go, if this show tanks, they might get 2 seasons. 1 season for sure. If this show bangs out real numbers, they're done. They're done. So it is what it is. Thank you so much, Crystal Manning. Next up, we have Susie Snyder, and then we'll get back to the speak pipe. We have 2 more. Susie Snyder, $9.99 super chat. Robin never sacrificed or compromised anything. Neither did her kids. The OG3 and all their kids absolutely did. They went without a whole. Robin and her kids sucked the life out of them. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that that's part of the struggle that people have with trying to associate themselves with Robin and or her kids. Let me give you a little something as I go through that, just because it's kind of covering my face. Oh, I got one for you. Susie Snyder, Out This World. Thank you so much, Susie. And that's a good point. Like, I think that when it comes down to it, that's part of the reason why a lot of what's going on with Robin's kids, I think, falls on deaf ears, because we've watched them get the there's a saying, living high on the hog. Like, they were the ones that were getting the prime cuts. They were the ones getting the best of everything with regard to the Brown family. So even if the Brown family suffered, their feet never touched the ground. So no matter how low the Brown family got, like, you had, some of these wives' families, them and their kids were getting drug along the ground. Robin and her family were basically standing on their backs as they were getting drug along the ground. And they're just talking about how low the family is going and how terrible this is. We was flying so high before. Now we just getting, we on the ground. We so low. And these women are getting drug on the ground. And Robin and her kids are complaining about it. And there's also a rumor, I don't know how true this is. I would love to have the conversation again. These are things that I would like to talk to either Janelle or her kids about. There was a rumor that when Janelle's daughter, Savannah, was in school with Brianna, I think it's Brianna. No, Aurora. When she was in school with Aurora, they were saying that they weren't hanging out. And there was a rumor around the mill that Campfire, word on the curb, Bob off the street, was that Aurora was making fun of Savannah for being poor, like giving her a hard time for being poor. Yeah, it's easy to tease somebody for being, well, first of all, kids shouldn't tease other kids for being poor. The kids ain't poor, just like kids ain't rich. Your parents are poor. Your parents are rich. First up. But second up, you have the same damn parents. The reason why you're doing so well is because her mom is given to your mom. So what are you talking? Like, you don't get to criticize her or make fun of her or treat her poorly because of that. And so they never really experienced. They never, even though they're from the same family, they never had the same experiences. When Janelle was sacrificing and doing without for the betterment of the family, Robin and Cody were basically taking that from that sacrifice and making themselves live a better life. And I think that that's something that, you know, does need to get talked about or brought up at some point. I would like to have that conversation. So, but I agree with what Susie had to say. Thank you so much, Susie. I appreciate you. Let me just go back. Okay. All right. Where does mine in the house? Let's see. Okay. Let me get to we have a couple more of the call-ins. Again, if you guys want to call in, leave a message. Call into or go to speakpipe.com / MyTakeOnReality. You can leave a 90-second message. If you have more to say, you can always leave a second message, but you can leave a 90-second message. You have the opportunity to record the message that you want. You can listen back to it, make sure it's approved by you, then send it in. And we'll talk about it on Thursday. If you don't want to have your name on, just hit anonymous, or you can come up and say, James, don't play my stuff, please. But you can make your point, and then I'll try to reconstruct it in my own words, and then I'll read a question or comment. Okay? It's a great way for people who don't feel necessarily comfortable calling into the show, like on the Sunday night show, or you not available or don't have the time, or maybe you're a part of the replay crew and you just want to leave a message to participate in the show. This is a way for you to get your word out so we can hear what you have to say about the show. All right. Next caller, and then we'll go to somebody who just did what I said you could do. Tanya Carter.
Hi, James. Tanya Carter here. This is the first time I'm doing a speak pipe, and I'm so happy that you're doing it because I do watch Reality Cringe and I love calling into their show. So this is cool. I'm interested to see what happens in the new season. I'm thinking because Coyote Pass, I think right now, is in Robin and Cody's name if you go into the deeds online. So I'm wondering how that happened. How did it get in their hands? So hopefully we'll see what happened there. Past that, there's not really much more that they could carry the show on with. I'm interested to see what the tell-all is going to be about. What more lies Cody and Robin will come up with, because at this point, I think they really just don't give a damn who thinks what anymore because they got all the money. I mean, at the end of the day, they won. So I don't think they really care anymore. But I think one of your callers on another show earlier this week said they hope that they should have had a man do it. And I agree, because Cody only has strength for women. Like, he would have never acted a damn fool if it were a man interviewing him. You know, like I said, he only has strength for women. But it'll be interesting to see. Let me know what you think. How do you think the tell-alls are going to go? All right.
All right, Tanya caught up in the house. Thank you so much, Tanya. How do I think the tell-alls are going to go? I'll go just in reverse order. I think the tell-alls will be interesting. It'll be fiery and saucy. I'm hoping because I did notice that they didn't show any of Suki's responses to a lot of the foolishness that Cody is kind of bringing forward. I want to shut you down, Suki. Suki did have, like, I will slap the shit up out you. Look on her face. You know what I mean? That look your mama used to give you when you when you get in the store. She done had the 5-minute conversation before you got in the store and you decided you was going to ask for something anyway. She had that look on her face like, oh, what? Mama, you think I can get some you think I could get some Fruit Loops? Oh, you must be out of your rabbit ass mind. I told you I got what I got. I won't come in and get what I'm gonna get because I gotta listen. I know what I'm gonna get. I know what I'm gonna do. You gonna ask me anyway after I done told you don't ask me nothing in the park? Okay, Okay, Mr. Big Pants. Story time. I told this story before. I remember when I was a kid. Speaking of that, when I was a kid, my mom was watching this little girl named Nikki. She was a neighbor of my cousin, right? And she was watching this little girl, Nikki. And Nikki was cute, right? And James liked him some Nikki, right? So we went to the store. And my mom had gave me the speech, like, don't be in there asking for nothing. I'm coming here for one thing that I plan on getting. Don't be asking me for nothing. Okay? I already know what I'm gonna get. So we go through the store, and you know how they had basically in the supermarkets, they have the candy right by the register. You know, they call it like impulse buying, but it's really like, Temptation Island. That's the Temptation Island. That's the Temptation aisle. Okay. When you go through like the little candy gauntlet that they set up. And I remember, I'll never forget it. They had this gum. I don't even know if they sell this shit anymore. Right. They had this gum. It was Hubba Bubba bubble gum. Right. And I asked my mom, I said, Mom, because I'm showing out for a little Nikki too. And Mom, can I get some of this Hubba Bubba bubble gum? It was cherry flavored. I'll never forget it. My mom looked at me. She had that look that Suki had. Suki, I'll call her Suki. That look that Suki had up on that tell-all trailer where Cody was like, I'm gonna shut you down there, Suki. That's the look that my mom had. Like, what? Oh, really, Mr. Okay, you must be grown. Because I done told you already that I wasn't going to spend no money up here, but you just disregarded everything I said. Okay, Mr. Bulletproof ass, go ahead and get some Hubba Bubba bubble gum. She bought me some Hubba Bubba bubble gum. Then she offered Nikki something. Nikki, I think, picked up some spearmint, right? She picked up some spearmint, what do they call that shit? Double something. They pick up that spearmint gum. My mom hit me with the look, and I knew it was over for a player. I'm gonna tell you this, because I don't know how much I can say on YouTube without getting in trouble. I'm gonna say this though. From that day forward, I've never, ever put another damn piece of Hubba Bubba bubble gum in my mouth. Okay, if you ask me, if you have Hubba Bubba bubble gum in your pocket, and you ask me, do I want a piece of that Hubba Bubba bubble gum? We might throw hands. that damn gum, I don't never want to see another Hubba Bubba bubble gum ever in my days. Okay. That's the look I saw Suki had when she cut that look at me. Yeah, it brought back flashbacks, y'all. I'm just talking about my traumas. I tell you to this day, man, you ask me about some Hubba Bubba bubble gum, you might get your legs swept. Okay? Because that shit, boy, it was not worth it. It was not worth it. Mama don't play. When she say don't ask for shit, that's exactly what she meant. She had the money, but she said don't ask me for nothing. And every now and again, you got to try it. But like they say, when you at the poker table, you push your chips all in, and you holding a pair of deuces, it's gonna be a long ride home, Jack. And when we left that supermarket after I got that look cut, every kid know that look. You get that look. I was like, it's gonna be a long damn ride home, son. Yeah, that was terrible. But I'm sorry. That reliving my traumas. Mom was fair. Mom do so don't be talking shit though, because my mom was fair. And everyone, she gave me the warning. She told me don't ask for nothing. And I went ahead and tried her. You try that shit, you find out. Sometimes you gotta find out the hard way. Hard head make a soft ass every day. She said, don't ask. You ask, you got, you want to walk up and slap shit out of pit bull, you got to be ready to get bit. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? I tell you what, when she got hold of my ass, boy, I don't want to see another piece of her. Oh man. Candace, Kathy Ray, at least I ain't get a shoe thrown at me. I wish she would have thrown a shoe at me. That would have been better. Oh man. But what else did she say? What did 'cause I did want to address that. Hold on.
Hi, James. Tanya Carter here. This is the first time I'm doing a speak pipe, and I'm so happy that you're doing it because I do watch Reality Cringe and I love calling into their show. So this is cool. Um, I'm interested to see what happens in the new season. I'm thinking because Coyote Pass, I think right now.
Now I remember. Cody Pass. Yeah. How long do I think the season's gonna last? Like I said, I think that they only have about 2 more seasons, especially if they're just gonna keep rehashing the whole Cody Pass thing. Like, I don't think that there's enough meat on the bone to have the conversation about Cody Pass for the next 2 damn seasons. Okay, like it's too much. Like it's too much over something that small. The only way Cody Pass makes any kind of sense as a main storyline is if we start to get into the bigger financial issues and the bigger financial investment. It becomes like a gateway for us to have a conversation about the family fund. That's the only way I think that the Cowdy Pass conversation can even hold a season, really. As far as like, because even the storyline, there's no reason, and this is one of the complications that I have as far as the story is concerned. A lot of the family members don't even want to shoot with each other. Like Janelle and Christine don't want to shoot necessarily with Mary. Christine doesn't want to shoot with Cody and Robin. So like especially as they start to devolve into these like tell-alls, and Christine is doing more interviews, and then she has the book coming out this September. If she really gets into it, and the one thing that will make this book actually sell is if she just throws aside the nicety, take that cloak of charity, set that mother on fire, and then come down to the real about what's going on, what happened in the family. That's the only way her book is going to sell. If she does that and that book sells and it makes Robin and Cody look bad, there's no way they're going to voluntarily, willingly do that show with her anymore. They're always going to try to be separate. Now, if that happens, there are natural geographic boundaries as to why they can't do the show. You have Janelle and her kids. She formed a life in North Carolina on one side of the country. On the other side of the country, in 2 different states, you have Robin and Cody all in Arizona by themselves. Nobody wants to see them. Nobody wants to talk to them, but they're the ones who bring all the drama. Then you have Mary in one part of Utah, and you have Christine and her husband in another part of Utah. And so there's no real reason as to why, and they don't even like each other. So there's no reason as to why they would all get together or have a conversation. The only time that they're really going to be able to get together is funerals, weddings, and the birth of children. Maybe a graduation, maybe. But even when the kids were graduating, that didn't even seem that important to them. Not like it was when the older kids were graduating. So I don't really think that there's a strong thing for the continuation of the show, because I think that already they were operating, it's just my opinion, already they were operating on heavily doctored and produced storylines to start. Then on top of that, you have them in different parts of the country not liking each other and no real reason as to why they would interact with each other. So anything you do beyond that is going to be insanely produced and insanely put together. Like, it's going to be insane. Why would they ever get together and talk? Why would they ever, like, even a Cowdy Pass thing? Like I said, I wouldn't even have a conversation about Cowdy Pass at this point. This would be a conversation between our lawyers. At that point, like where they are, this is not a conversation like situation. This is I'm gonna call my lawyer. Who do you have? If you don't have nobody, you better get somebody. because I'm getting the rootinest, tootinest, hired gun I can freaking find up in this piece. My mouthpiece is going to be outstanding. So I don't really know how much they could do as far as that's concerned. But yeah, so I do have a message from somebody who left an anonymous message. Just want to make sure that's cool. Fruit strips, yeah, right. Y'all talking about them old candy now and laters, Alexander the Grape. You talking about some old school candy, lemon heads. No, I didn't really like lemon heads, so that wasn't my jam. Oh, we had back in the day talking about like old school candy. We also had the I can't even say it online because they'll demonetize me, but it was basically like sugar, like like a pack of sugar, and it had like a sugar stick. You can you lick the sugar stick, you dip it in the sugar, and just basically stand there eating sugar. You wonder why kids can't pay attention in class? It just gave them 2 packs of sugar. And we had, and unlike today, like I think a lot of stuff is so produced and so manufactured now that we had real sugar when I was coming up. So all the stuff had real sugar in it. There was none of that like high fructose corn. It was sugar. Okay, when they say sugar, they mean sugar. I'm talking about knock your teeth out sugar. Okay, hey, you whistling all your words, sugar. A wax lips, yeah, right. But yeah, so here's a call that came in and they asked a question about the lies by omission. Okay. And this is in reference to the sister wives and the damage that the Brown family perpetrated on not only themselves, but as well as the audience by having lies of omission, things that they would say, but they would leave out a whole bunch of other stuff when they were trying to describe it. Oh, living polygamy is wonderful. It's wonderful to be able to come home and you don't never have to hire no babysitters. If you have a dream, you have something that you would like to achieve, woo, you could depend on your sister wives because you have 3 additional adults who are there to help you with your life and life choices. It's amazing. Sister wives, it's the way of America. That's what we were told. But what they didn't talk about was the jealousy involved. What they didn't talk about was actually the self-sabotage, which occurred in the family. You had family members who actually actively sabotage other family members. And I think that even goes beyond like the clear sabotage of, Mary confessing to Robin, her best friend, that she actually wants to go back to school to improve herself as well as her employment prospect and opportunity, only to have Robin turn around and say, well, I never wanted you to go back to school and you should feel bad for me because by you going back to school, it prevents me from being able to stay home, which I'm doing anyway, and to raise my kids, which I'm not taking care of anyway. That's sabotage. So you had a lot of that. And you had a lot of the internal jealousies, which not only prevents or destroys the relationships between these individuals, amongst each other, but it also destroys the relationships that these people have with each other and their own kids. There's so much emphasis on these ladies wanting to seek the attention, the desires, the affection of their husband who is splitting time with these other women, that the kids are no longer any focus or consideration in any of these relationships. You spend so much time as a sister wife trying to please, pleasure, and seek attention from your husband that your kids go ignored. And this is a downfall of sister wives. It was something that was never really talked about on the show. It's something that they hint around. It's something that they might mention cursorily, but they don't directly address that issue. You're so worried about what Cody is doing and who Cody is seeing and what Cody is about that you can't be yourself. You can't focus on your kids. You can't focus on the things that you need to focus on for yourself because you're so worried about that. And this is the equivalent of, like, this is like that middle-age equivalent of like when you're a young person and you are so I can think of a lot of dirty ways to say this, and I'm trying to think of a clean way to say this. So this is where cursing it really comes into play, because you can be very straightforward when it comes to cursing. If you're so crazy, like boy crazy, girl crazy, you'll say it that way. You're so crazy about that type of attention that you don't focus on. As a young person, one of the detrimental things that you try to warn your kids about is don't be boy crazy, girl crazy. Don't throw your life away chasing after these people. Because as a person who's lived a life and been around, son, as a person who's been around, I'm telling you that, like, the little pleasures that you're going to get by chasing these people, maybe, taking them down, doing things with them and stuff, is not going to replace the feeling of accomplishment that you could have if you actually set yourself up to do something. You commit yourself to doing it. You have the discipline to get it done, and you achieve something. The short-term pleasure of you chasing after Bobby Sue or Ray J or Tommy Jones or Susie Q, that doesn't, that feels good at the time, but it's not helping you to accomplish anything. And when I watch a lot of the sister wife stuff, I see them chase after Cody. They're trying to get his time, attention, and affection. But even if he gives you a little bit of time, attention, and affection, give you a little kick off. Hey, Robin's busy, she on her thing. She going to go see her mom and she ain't around. So I get to come by and sample some of your good treats. And then when Robin gets back, I'm back to the grind, back to the stone. And then I drop you off. And then you're sitting there left to wonder why I don't want you, why I don't want to spend time with you, why it's not fair. We watch Mary. The loneliness that she suffered, that woman suffered, is ridiculous. Oh, if you join this family, you ain't never going to be alone. Mary looked lonely as fuck, pardon my French. She looked lonely as hell by the end of the series. She was lonely. And even with the whole, I know I bring up the catfish stuff a lot, but that's the whole reason why the catfish thing happened. She was lonely. It wasn't just the fact that Cody wasn't coming by, taking care of her, playing a maintenance man and testing up pipes. It was the fact that, or laying pipes. It was the fact that, she didn't have connections with anybody in the family, really. And part of the reason why you don't have, again, another omission, another reason why you don't have connection with these other women is because that's the damn competition. How often are you going to come in there and tell them what your real issues and problems are, knowing full well that they're just going to go back and use it against you in conversations with the person that you're trying to complain about and a person you have issues with? Why? Because if they can make you hard or difficult to deal with, Cody will deal with them because he'll avoid you, and that opens up his calendar, that opens up his schedule, so he'll just spend more time with you. So you're already diametrically opposed to one another. So then they also have the question was asked during the course of this. So I'm kind of layering it. So I'm giving a little bit of what they were saying, and I'm giving my perspective. They also said, like, the support of the church to lie. And I think that this is part of the key too. Is that when you talk about the support of the church is also counseling them to start. The church The church is also encouraging them to be dishonest because it's teaching them how to manage their relationships. And the way you manage your relationship is essentially the fundamental lie, the first fundamental lie they told them is lie to your damn self. You tell these women that somehow they're going to get a blessing if they suffer through these relationships and they don't complain. If you don't want anything out of life, you won't be upset if you don't get it. It'll be incredible. You won't feel like you're being neglected. You won't feel like you're missing out on anything because you didn't have high hopes. That's essentially what the church is telling you. And then make sure you give your husband the cloak of charity because he has it rough. You got to think about how difficult his life is as he's dealing and navigating these multitude of relationships. Poor him. So you teaching these ladies to lie to their damn self. Put your happiness on the back burner. Think of the big picture. His happiness. You're all suffering, right? And even if you, no matter how much you suffer, and one thing I can say about like even with Cody's thing, and this I know this comes, from like an influence as part of his church, is that no matter how much these ladies suffer, no matter what they go through, and you see and know what your suffering is, and that's something that they would, you see and know what your suffering is, just know that your husband is suffering way worse than you. He's suffering 10 times more than you because he's not only having to deal with your loneliness, your depression, your issues, he has to deal with the issues of his other wives, all while maintaining his own issues, his own depressions. But as the leader of the family, the high priesthood holder of the family, he takes that burden onto his shoulders. And you, as the lowly wife, must be thankful to him for his sacrifices. So here you are thanking a guy who is mistreating you. The most gangster shit I've ever heard, like I follow politics, the most gangster shit I've ever heard in politics was actually a guy named Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney went out hunting with his friend. He was upset with him at the time, but he went hunting with his friend. And he shot his friend in the face with bird shot. Shot him in the face with bird shot. Getting out of the car with the shot, bam! Hit him in the face with bird shot. And he shows up. His friend goes to the hospital. They pulling these little pellets out of his face, right? They made him get on the TV news. Still got bandages on his face from where this dude just deuced him in the face with birdshot. And they made him apologize to Dick Cheney for embarrassing him. That was the most gangster shit ever. Followed by what they do to these ladies. You make them apologize and feel sorry for the guy who is actually benefiting from them being in the family and in a relationship. It's the craziest shit ever. Oh, Cody is really, as much as we suffer, Cody is suffering so much more because he's the leader. Really? Really? You're a single mom raising 6 kids by yourself. Financial burden on you. Your husband is out not only not taking care of you and helping you, your husband is out trying to get another filly in the stable and her kids in the house for you to take care of too. And you should feel sorry for him and his sacrifices. You selfish sod, you selfish so-and-so. That's some crazy shit. So like the fact that the church convinces you to lie to yourself, and then of course you have the issues where the church asks people to lie to people surrounding them because it's enforced by the fact that the virtue of the fact that you guys are living a lifestyle which is technically illegal. So the church is asking you to abide by this principle, and then you have to cover for that principle. So it teaches you to lie and be deceptive and dishonest. And in that lie and in that deception, it also gives the extra cover of they get to mistreat you and do what they want to do to you because you can't tell people that you're participating in this illegal thing. This is the curse of dirty hands, or as I like to say, this is the place of secrets. And when you live in a place of secrets, it opens you up to so much more bad shit. This is part of the reason, like, even when I was, when my kids are young, I used to tell them all the time, you don't have secrets from me. Especially you don't have secrets from me with other adults. Because when you can, when people want to take advantage of you, the first thing they want to do is isolate you, and they want to be able to be sure that you can keep a damn secret. And so if you can keep a secret, they get to do whatever they want to do to you. Once they get you doing the secret thing, they just trick you into doing something which you consider to be wrong or dangerous for you. And then because we kept it secret and nobody knows about this situation, I get you to do this thing that you perceive as wrong or morally questionable, or more to the point, in this particular situation, illegal. Then when I mistreat you and you want to go and complain, yeah, fine. You can go talk to the police if you want to, but you're going to tell them that you committing a crime. You're going to tell them about all the crimes you committed. Yeah, you might get me in trouble, but imagine what's going to happen to you. And you also fill them with the stories about the things that are going to happen to their kids. Yeah, if you go and tell on me for the things that I'm doing, then the cops are going to open an investigation. And once they realize that you're actually participating in this illegal activity, not only will you get into trouble, but your kids are going to be stripped from you. You're going to lose your family. Is that what you're doing? You're that upset that you're willing to break up your family and hurt your kids. And that's something that's pushed by not only the patriarchs in these families, but it's also pushed by their communities. And more importantly, it's pushed by their church. So yeah, like that lie is dangerous and that lie is damaging. They also mentioned during the course of their message, again, you guys can leave a message, speakpipe.com/MyTakeOnReality. You can do something similar, just say, James, I want to ask you the question, but please don't mention me or don't play my thing. And I'll basically do what I'm doing now. You also had a lie where you lie to protect feelings. And this is not only protect, your feelings, but you call yourself lying, the benefit of lying and being deceptive. I'm going to tell this lie because it's a little white lie. It's a lie that's going to make you feel better about the situation. It's a lie that we're going to tell to make each other feel comfortable about what's going on. So I'm going to pretend like I'm okay. You know what I mean? Like I can only imagine, you opening up your marriage and you tell her, oh yeah, it's okay. My wife goes sleep with other dudes. You put on the brave face and then you pretend like you happy. Like when they went to the wedding, everybody pretending like they having a good time. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Could you imagine like your song come on, you dancing with your husband, whether it's slow or fast, twerking on them or grinding on whatever. And then by the end of the night, you maybe have a couple pops, I guess in their case. They have some specialty beverages, some specialty sodas or whatever. But really, at more mainstream ones, you have a couple of those cocktails, and you in the mood. You feel like doing some things because you feeling super romantic, only to realize that your husband is going home with his new wife, and you supposed to sit there with a big ass smile on your face like you the damn Joker. I'm so happy. This is amazing. I'm so overjoyed. You know what I mean? It's a lie you tell yourself. Oh, I'm doing this for the benefit of my soul. I'm suffering now, but when I get to the Heavenly Father, we go to space, Jesus. It's going to be amazing. Like, you know what I mean? Then all of a sudden, it's supposed to be a good thing that your husband is going out banging out dusty draws. We've been driving 5 hours to go see anyway. The Grinch that stole husbands. Like, no, nobody's happy. Okay? I'm just so happy our family is growing. Are you happy that you're going to get less time with a guy that you barely get time with now? That your kids are going to have less attention from the guy who's barely spending time with them now? That makes you excited? That's a lie. It's a lie. So you have that lie. Then, of course, you have the use of religion to protect that said lie. So you use your faith, your belief system to cover for your lies and make your deceptions okay. Your deceptions are okay. They're not only okay, it's sanctified. It's a holy, virtuous thing for you to tell these lies, not only to the general public, but more importantly, and what I think is way more damaging, for you to lie to yourself. It's a bonus. It's a positive. It's a plus positive that you are lying to yourself, that you're excited about this. And I think that reinforces the doubt and danger in that, because you're told that this is what you're supposed to do. You're told you're supposed to be happy. You're told that this is awesome, that this is amazing, this is a virtuous thing to do. But then you step back and look at it, and you realize that you're getting screwed, and it's not going good for you. So I mean, I think that that's part of it. Then you have sought counsel from Another message was left. Like those were actually a combination of two messages, and then the person left a third message. And it says, Robin apparently had sought counsel from the AUB council over the years. So she went to the AUB church, and she was actually receiving counsel or support or advice from the church. And it was a big question that this particular caller had. What were they talking about? And since we kind of know about it and it was mentioned that she was doing this, what were they talking about? And they also, and to the caller's credit, they acknowledge that these kinds of counseling or therapy sessions or advice, especially because it comes from a religious figure, much like an attorney or a doctor, has certain protections and privileges involved with that. But with that being said, it would be interesting to find out what they were talking about. Were they counseling her on how to be a better sister wife, on how to treat the family? I would doubt that was the case. If anything, like one of the was it Notes to Self 444, Melanie had described, Robin is in good standing with the elders of that church and the people in that church. And as they talked about, she was, sought after, and they could see how she would still remain sought after in that church. So to join somebody's family. So some of the conversations that they might have might be like how to be more patient or how to be a better sister wife. The one issue that I could see popping up during that conversation isn't necessarily because listening to how Robin talks and to some of the things that she says and how she describes things, I don't see her going there and saying, church man, could you express to me how to be a better sister wife? What can I do to be a better companion in the family? I don't see that. What I do see is her going complaining about these other women. I see that. I can see her going there talking about how Janelle and Christine are all selfish ass women and how they ruining her life and they're taking advantage of her and how she's not getting the stuff she needs or wants and it's not fair and how she's the victim. I can see that conversation and I can see her seeking counsel from the people who are important in that area, because part of the way I in my mind, in my opinion, I don't have proof for this. This is just my opinion. The way Robin approaches a lot of these issues with the what's going on, like she'll say things like, this person is victimizing me, that person is mistreating me. Somehow I'm always the victim. Somehow these other people are always the agitator. So I'm the hero / victim in every story. And I think that comes from not her recent or adult development into becoming the victim / hero. I think that's just how she was brought up. I think that was a dynamic of how she learned to address and deal with people. I think that when she was younger, like I had said before, when you're young, and you deal with situations like this, especially where you have a lot of kids that your parents are dealing with, the kid who's always in trouble, jeopardy, or has issues will always get more attention than the kids who seek perfection, the kids who are doing really well. So if you have a child that is doing extraordinarily well, they're well adjusted in school, they have a lot of friends, they're making good grades, they're participating in a lot of after school activities. And then you have another child that always seem to be getting into trouble or always the victim of somebody bullying them and taking advantage of them because they so sweet and they so sensitive and all that stuff. They're a pretty sensitive wife and they try to hold on to that moniker even now. You have those situations. Then what happens is that they recognize that their parents will lean towards attending their thing. Yeah, I will go to your stuff, Johnny, but you're the captain of the football team. And little Robins, she's struggling to make friends. She's struggling and she really needs the support of her parents right now. So don't be selfish. Don't be greedy. Don't be upset. We're going to go to her stuff. we're going to spend more time with her. We're going to, we have $100 in the bank that we were going to split between you two and get you guys presents. But you're so well adjusted. You have everything you need. You seem happy. She's struggling. So we're going to go ahead and take that $100, her 50 and your 50, and we're going to give it to her so that she feels good about herself. And you learn that this is a way that you can get advantage. And so as long as you're getting that positive reinforcement and it's working, then you just keep doing it. And if she did that all through the time when she was younger, and then when she gets married, even when she's having problems with her husband, she, let's say that the shopping addiction thing was actual and is accurate, and she was having issues with the shopping, then there'll always be a reason as to why she's shopping and buying stuff and is bad with money, and she's spending all the money up. Oh, I'm doing this because you guys don't never spend no time with me, and I always feel bad. Oh, I spent why did you buy a bunch of drawers from Victoria's Secret? Because they ain't buy no damn jeans. He bought drawers from Victoria's Secrets. Why you buy all these damn expensive ass drawers? Because I want to feel sexy, because after I had all these kids for you, I don't feel like I'm pretty anymore. And you just go through the whole thing. Every way down the line, she's somehow a victim, or somehow she's suffering, or somehow somebody is bullying her, taking advantage of her. When she leaves, Preston bankrupts his ass, destroys his business, and wrecks him financially, and she leaves him to seek a better opportunity with the Brown family, Cody Brown and the OG3. Then all of a sudden she goes back and tells them about how she was being victimized by her ex-husband and how he mistreated her, and he ladled her with all this extra debt because he used to like to watch her bounce around the bedroom wearing her Victoria's Secret's panties. I like the angel panties, girl. And then so she goes out, and that's why she has $30,000 worth of debt. And then because he was such a terrible man when I got the divorce, I went ahead and put those debts in my name. Let me tell you something. There is no way, and I'm going to go off a little bit. There's no damn way a judge who has any sense of himself would sit there and give a woman who has primary custody of 3 children and no financial prospects a $30,000 debt that was shared between her and her husband. They damn sure wouldn't give you a $30,000 debt that was generated by the husband. But there's no way in the world they're going to give you full custody of some kids and you get the kids and the debt, girl. Well, jackpot. That's not a thing. That was her debt. Okay. So with that being said, she took that story and then she parlayed it into I'm a victim. I'm being mistreated. He was such a terrible man. Even having a baby because you was out doing your thing. You was getting tossed up before you were married. You were tossing it up, passing it out, throwing it around. Go up and get down. You was doing your thing. It is what it is. I'm not hating on you. I'm not mad at you because I'm from the world. I'm not from your church. I don't look at you no kind of way. You were doing what people do. You got pregnant, and then all of a sudden you turn that into a victim situation. Yeah, he tricked me. He said he's gonna make me feel good. Then we got pregnant. I was embarrassed to marry him because he took my purity. I mean, that's one way to say it, I guess. Another way to say it would be you were at practicing unsafe sex. You know what I mean? You went and did your thing, kicked your heels up, and you came out and got knocked up. It is what it is. But we're going to pretend like somehow he took advantage of you. The boys only want one thing. Sometimes the girls want the same damn thing. Okay? Well, because of social dynamics and restraints, and partly because of the lies that you are bred with at your church and your community, you believe that women ain't supposed to enjoy it, even though you have every desire to go and do it. If women ain't supposed to be enjoying it and you only supposed to do it for the sanctity of the Heavenly Father, then why was you chasing that married man around that damn church? Why were you jumping in your car driving 5 hours for the possibility of meeting some man if women ain't supposed to enjoy it and ain't got no feelings to it? I'm just saying. And that's best case scenario. That's me giving you a lot of credit for being a human being. Because otherwise you did it for the money. For the love of money, money man, get that money man. I mean, it is what it is. Next they ask, so why do I think that they sought counsel from the church? And again, it could be that talking about like the victimhood and how the OG3 are mistreating her. I also think that there's another aspect of that, which I'll close with, which I think that you would go and do that because you're trying to get the positioning within that church. So if the church is like a big deal and is a mainstay in your community, then you want the church on your side. So you go back and you tell these horrible stories about how you're victimized by these women and how they're taking advantage of you and how they got you mislabeled and mistreating you and just doing all these terrible things to you, so that way you can jump on the ride of, oh well, when we come back and the show ends and we have to come back into the community, I'll be held into an exalted position within that community. This is something that, and like I said, it tracks because this is also something that she successfully did within the Brown family. When you look at the Brown family, what did she do? She put herself in a situation where she basically turned herself into a victim. And by doing that, she aligned herself with Cody, who now puts himself in a position where he feels like he must defend everything that she does or has done. If she eats, sleeps, shits, breathes, whatever, all of a sudden Cody must defend anything that she does because she's such a victim and she's so sensitive, she's so tender that he has to protect her. And he does it. He says that he does it on every tell-all that they've had since the show started. Every tell-all since this show started, season 1, all the way through to season 19, Cody has consistently defended and represented the fact that Robin needs his defense because everybody who she comes in contact with is an asshole. Here's the secret. If everybody around you finds it difficult to get along with you, there's a strong possibility they may not be the assholes. Just saying. Secret between me and you. It might not be them. If everybody in your life is mistreating you and somehow you always seem to end up at odds with everybody you come in contact with, from your husband to your parents to your sister wives to the fan base to anybody you come in contact with, the only guy who's on your side is the whipped ass husband who will basically do anything that you say. She piss on his face, he'll be like, it's raining heavenly juices. It's amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. She could spit in his eye. Oh, I've been blessed. She didn't mean it unless she did, in which case it was awesome anyway. Like, it's very disturbing to watch. But that's what she did in her family. So there's no reason why I wouldn't think that she would go back and do that with the church or the larger community in order to not only gain preferential treatment, but for them to think that, for them to be on her side, but for them to hold her up to a position of exalted glory. Oh, not only was she a victim, but she suffered so much. And she suffered with a smile on her face. Yeah, she suffered with a smile on her face because she got $1 million house and a Rolex watch out of the deal. How many people go to work? I mean, if you say that she was just going to work and spending time with him because that's what she was trying to do for the money, okay, how many people go to work for the money and they don't get to walk away with $1 million house and a Rolex watch and brand new cars and land in their name? Okay, a lot of people retire off their job. They be lucky if they ain't eating cat food. This chick is walking around. She's eating only the finest Betty's and juices. Okay, that's kind of where we're at. So she's learning from her experiences. You know what I mean? She's learning from her experiences. And every experience that she's had thus far, her attitude, her positioning, and her personality, as far as the interpretation of her personality, as far as being a perpetual victim, has always benefited her. She hasn't hit that rock bottom yet where nobody gives a shit. And I think that that's kind of where she's headed. Like, especially if she goes back to the church, maybe she'll be able to pull it off. But if she tries like the whole I'm a victim thing and these old G3 women, well, I guess I call them OG3. She probably call them the old G3. But the OG3s, like if she was able to, if she separates away from the show and she tries to blame Mary Christine and Janelle for her personality and how she was treated and why they're all evil, mean women, and she's such a victim, and she tries to parlay that into a TV show, that show will be terrible. One, two, that show will get canceled. Two, that show will have the lifespan of a housefly. It might be over 2 weeks. From inception to gone. Okay. TLC, if y'all want to give her a show, just go ahead and write me a check. Because apparently y'all like throwing money away. Just go ahead and burn that money. Go take it out back and just set it on fire. That show will do jack shit. Okay. That show is doing nothing. Nobody is watching that show. She's terrible. She's terrible. What did Cody say? She's terrible. Okay. And nobody was watching that show. Like, you'll watch her, like, the only way she works, the only way Cody works, and this kind of goes back to the previous question, how long do I think the show lasts? This show only works, as far as Cody and Robin is concerned, if they're offset by other characters on the show, the OG3. You have to have somebody who offsets them. Them by themselves, like, their private time, when the two of them are sitting there talking, brother, like, what the shit? What am I watching? Y'all just sitting there lying to each other. This look like the crazy council town meeting the crazy town and shit. Like city council meeting the crazy town. You just sitting there lying to each other and look at each other in the face like, so Cody, even though I was there the whole time, tell me about how you felt about XYZ when it happened. You were there, you know, right? Oh, you're doing it for the storyline. Duh. You guys are so bad. Like, you're such bad actors. It's so ridiculous. But yeah, this show will won't last at all. Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of where we are. But thank you guys so much for calling in. Big shout out to Anonymous. Let me get the lineup as well. Big shout out to Anonymous, Kiki, Candace, Tanya Carter. Thank you guys so much for sending in that speak pipe again. The speak pipe is an opportunity for you guys to be able to call in, leave a message, and participate in the show without necessarily having to call into the show, because some people get a little nervous, and I respect that. Not everybody is crazy enough to sit in their home office, studio / house, apartment, garage, kitchen, whatever, and talk to a camera. That's not for everybody. Some people don't feel comfortable talking on the phone because they get confused. Maybe they don't say things that they want to say the way that they want to say it. I like Speak Pipe because it gives you the opportunity to be able to call and participate in the show on your terms, which is all I really care about. I want you to be able to call in and participate in the show to your comfort levels. You can also, if you don't want to do speakpipe.com / MyTakeOnReality, or you don't want to call in on Sunday nights where we do the call-in show, good times had by all, you can always go to MyTakeOnRealityQuestions at gmail.com and leave me an email. All right, easy enough to do. All the links and stuff is down in the description below, and it's easy to do. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with a player. Let me just make sure. Oh, we got Aunt Mitty in the house. What's up, Aunt Mitty? Down in our super chat. Sob's trapped husband number one on purpose, in my opinion. My opinion too. I think that like I talked about earlier, when you're young, sometimes you be looking at a situation and you be saying to yourself that this is the move that I want to make. This is something I want to do. And then when you get to doing it, you get to smashing it the way you want to smash it. And people are trying to give you that advice. Like, how many people have known somebody or even been on the other side of that conversation with your parents, elders, or somebody who's trying to give you that good advice? And you either tell them or you've heard, because you're the one giving the advice. You've heard, look, I know what I'm doing. I'm living my life. I'm out here making it happen. I got shit popping. You just jealous. Don't worry about me. Okay, worry about yourself. And you trying to give them good advice, trying to pull them coattails, and they don't want to listen. You know, I can see that situation too. She ain't want to listen. She was doing what she wanted to do. This dude, her first husband, he seemed like he had it all. He seemed like he had it going on. He was going to be able to financially provide her with the type of life and lifestyle that she thought she wanted. Because at the time, like, let's keep it all the way real. Cody's situation, her husband's situation now, is only provided by the sheer fact that he was given the immense, extraordinarily rare opportunity to be on a reality show. Had it not been for this reality show that Christine got him, but had it not been on this reality show, not only would he not have Robin, but he wouldn't have any of the financial success that he had. He was working a dead-end job that wasn't going nowhere. He wasn't making any money. He certainly wasn't making enough money to be able to provide for himself, let alone the 13 children that he had, plus the 4 wives that he had, who he was sending out to work every day because he couldn't do it. But he was gifted with this extraordinary opportunity of being on this TV show. So given the chance to compare the two, this is like dating a guy in high school who is the popular guy. He's the captain of the football team. He's Mr. Walk down the hallway, slapping, shaking hands, clapping backs, and kissing babies. He's that guy. Then graduation hits, and he doesn't have any prospects, and things go south on him. And even though she was hanging on every word on him in high school, all of a sudden she realized that in order for her to live the lifestyle, the Instagram famous life that she wants to live, she has to go out and find somebody else. And that's who Cody was. So in that situation, I do think that she trapped husband one, because he was the guy who, at the time, he's the guy who most realistically would have given her the life and lifestyle that she wanted to have. But then when he wasn't able to keep up with her spending, and the stuff she was doing financially, and she ruined his ass, then she had to move on to another husband. Okay. She sucked his ass dry and she had to move on. That's the way it go. But let me give Aunt Mitty a little something. All right. Aunt Mitty. Oh, here we go. I had to get back up. Awesome. Thank you, Aunt Mitty. Then we have Jenny Jet up in the house, 499 Super Chat. K&R don't do pillow talk. They do pillow planning. Ooh, that's a good one. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, I like that. I have to write that down. Where's my pen? They don't do pillow talk. They do pillow planning. I like that. I'm literally writing that down. Pillow planning. Love it. I agree with that. I think that the things that they want right now align with each other. I don't think that they necessarily on the same page for the things that they are trying to achieve. It just happens that the things that they want to achieve individually are just on the same way. Okay, yeah, it's like a Uber ride share. They pillow planning is like an Uber ride share. Like, you guys might not be going to the same address, but you're going in the same direction. They both wanted to be able to siphon money away from the OG3. They wanted to be able to siphon. I won't even say the OG3. To be more specific, they wanted to siphon money away from the family. And in doing so, they both have their own reasons, deleterious, their own reason as to why they want to get the money that they want to get. Like, Cody wants to have the money for himself. And Robin, of course, wants to have the money for herself. Because I know that if you ask Cody who deserves all this money, He's not going to say, yeah, Robin, because everything she suffered with as far as joining the family, yeah, Robin should have all the money. She should get, all of it. Yes, because she suffered. She's a pretty, innocent, shy wife. She deserves it. Yes, she does. That's not what he's going to say. What he's going to say is, I deserve the money because I'm the leader. I'm the one who made all the decisions. I'm the one that forced us in the door, taking a chance and joining the show. I'm the reason why we're successful. So therefore, all the success of the family is based off of my decision making. When we decided to move to Vegas and take the leap to buy those homes that we couldn't afford, and that's what we did. That was based on my pressure and because of my dreams, my hopes, and the things that I was trying to accomplish for the family. And so, therefore, everything that happened as a result of that, I should get, if not a lion's share of, I should get all of. So I think that they're, like I said, I think they're heading in the same direction, but they're not going to the same place. And I think that, to their own detriment, I think that that's part of the reason why they actually may run into some loggerheads later on down the line. But thank you so much, Jenny Jet. Give you a little something, Jenny Jet. Jenny and the Jet. JJ in the house. Awesomeness. Thank you so much, Jenny. Appreciate you. Yeah, but that's the show for tonight. But before we go, I just want to make sure I thank I see Carmel Cuties in the house. Thank you. Hey, Carmel Cuties. What's going on? Hopefully everything is going well. What's this? I can't imagine what the Pillow Planet sounds like today. Cody crying, damn it, Christine. She turned the kids against me. Still, Robin agreeing with him while asking, don't you want to be a good dad? Don't you want to be a good father? I do. Oh, man. But yeah, thank you guys so much for calling in. Like I said, I'm going to make the Monday motivation video that I did earlier this week. I'm going to make that available right after the show. So make sure you keep an eye out for it. It'll be a picture of me. That's why I'm not clicking on it, James, because it's your damn picture. So it'll be my picture plus Monday morning motivations. You guys will see it. I'm going to push that out right after we get off of this. Then I'm going to do some videos. I know I wanted to do the Ruby Frank thing, but if I release it tomorrow, it's not going to get any traction. So I am going to release the Ruby Frank video this Monday. Also with this Saturday. Like I said in the beginning, y'all, we got a collab popping off on Saturday with Reality Cringe TV. I'm about to mess it up. Reality Cringe TV. We going dumpster diving, y'all. It's going to be an awesome time. Beatrice and B, I've been watching them for a long time, so I'm very excited to talk to them. I'm going to be rolling out the thumbnails and stuff for that very shortly, probably tonight as well. And I just got to, you know what, a little inside baseball. I got to figure out how I can release multiple videos on the same day without killing the videos. So I'm just trying to do some behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, we're doing that this Saturday with Reality Cringe TV. I'll be meeting up with Beatrice and D, Dahlia. We'll be hooking up this Saturday for Saturday Night Live. Get it? Saturday Night Live. And it'll be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Guys, we're going to have a great time. It's going to be a lot of fun. So hide your wife, hide your kids. Those who know. Okay? As far as everything is concerned, make sure you guys leave that message so you can be included on a Thursday night show. Speakpipe.com/MyTakeOnReality. 90 seconds, hotbox message. Go ahead and leave it. You can approve it. Then you send it in. Again, you don't have to leave your name if you don't feel comfortable with it. Just write anonymous in the thing or say, just start talking and I'll play it next Thursday and then or the following Thursday. And then guess what, guys? If you don't feel comfortable with that, you can do what I had an anonymous person who left a message. I know who they are. I know all the stuff. But they said, don't play my message. but they asked the question. So I did what I did, where I just basically gave a description of the message they left, and I gave my take on it. Also, if you want to leave me an email, you're more than welcome to do that at MyTakeOnRealityQuestions@gmail.com. Easy peasy, guys. Easy peasy. I'm trying to make it as easy as for you guys to participate as possible. I want to give a big shout out to our new member. We got a new member in the house. Hold on one second. There it is. Got a new member. Wait. Dura. New member, Laura B, the extraordinary machine. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As well as I want to give a huge shout out to Ty, Crystal Manning, Susie Snyder, Crystal Manning again. Thank you, Crystal. Twice. Ding, ding. You're in my book. Aunt Mitty and Jenny Jet, thank you guys so much for the super chat. I want to thank everybody who participated in the chat. I also want to give a big, huge shout out to the Mega Mod, Caramel Cuties, for holding her player down. I know she came in and she's doing a thing. So I appreciate you, Caramel Cuties. Thank you so much. There might have been a little confusion because of the new thumbnail. I had to revamp my thumbnails and try to get some more attention on it. So the thumbnails have changed a little bit. I'll try to put a little, maybe an MTR on the corner or whatever, so you guys know it's me. But that's what we're doing, guys. Again, very excited about what's about to happen. And I got some new things happening. I don't want to say too much, but I'm very excited about it. So make sure you stay tuned, like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications so you'll be notified when I go live and I drop videos just like these, as well as lives just like this. And share the videos, especially my 90-day stuff. I want to try to get the word out that I'm doing 90-day, as well as I know I'm going to cover that Poly Family, that new show on TLC, because that shit is a hot damn mess. Crazy. That is crazy. It's crazy. So I'll be doing that. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with a player. I appreciate you guys. Let me give everybody who participated and hung out with a player a little something, because that's what I like to do. Because I know some of you guys are looking at me and you saying to yourselves, my favorite, my favorite John.
Settle down, Johnny Appleseed.
And settle down, Johnny Appleseed. But thank you guys so much for participating. Here's a little something for you. All right, guys. That's my take. I'm James. This has been My Take on Reality, and I'm out.